Welcome to Irresistible. You ignite your passion and purpose. My name is Karen Seltz. I am your host, and I am so excited for tonight's guest. It is my good friend, Stacy Hernandez. She is a multidimensional energy tracker, which we're going to find out what that is, because what is that exactly? She's an intuitive and a spiritual mentor. She provides a safe, nurturing space for people to deepen their intuition and heal the deep wounds from this lifetime, our ancestors, past lives, dark forces, and more. She also teaches how to track and clear energy at the Light Body Academy and facilitates workshops at Urban Sanctuary in Denver. She is on a personal mission to expand into the deepest levels of love, connection, and inner freedom, and to support others on their path of self-awareness, personal liberation, and spiritual transformation. Welcome, Stacy. I'm so happy that you are here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here. And I appreciate you so much. And we even just had our recent reconnection, and it's just like, I feel so good to have that reconnection with you.
I know. I got an intuitive hit to reach out to you, and I'm like, I've been really leaning into those lately and rekindling a lot of interesting relationships. And I remember, we met a couple years ago, and I felt like this immediate bond with you. And it was great to rekindle that and to hear what you've been up to. So let's start with, okay, what in the world is a multidimensional energy tracker?
All right.
In
So we're starting
English.
there. In English. Okay. I'll try to break it down. Not light language. I'll try to break it down as much as I can. So if we think about Reiki, right? A lot of people know when they think of energy healing or energy stuff, they think of like a Reiki, where you may be kind of laying hands over someone, you're tracking the energy, usually more physically, and you're clearing energetic blocks through that. You can track energy on all levels of awareness. That's what intuitives do. That's what clairvoyants do. That's what psychics do. They're tracking energy. They're tracking frequencies.
What does tracking energy mean?
So meaning we are tuning into the energies, and we are tuning into the data sets and intuitive hits we are getting, which is a form of, it's all energy frequency coming in through us. It's how we interpret it, the lens we have of those energy frequencies coming into us and how we interpret it. So what a clairvoyant may be tuning into a loved one that's with them and sharing messages to their loved one. So we think about Ghost, right? Whoopi Goldberg communicating to Patrick Swayze, so that sort of thing. But that's all energy. But the frequency is coming in as the actual person. There is also, it can be through the data sets, the intuitive hits that you are getting. And let's say they're interpreted through some psychic information. So it could be intuitive information about, hey, I'm seeing this happening with you right now. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you knew that about myself. That's all energy. It's all energy. We live in energy. And we know this very well in the leadership work we have done, right? How did we source this? How did we create this? That's all energy that we're working through. So when I'm tracking energy, I am following the data sets, the intuitive hits that I'm getting, and I'm getting information to share with someone. So it could be something like, oh my gosh, you had this past life in this experience, this happened to you, and look how it has followed you in your life stream, so the lives that you have lived, and here is how it's manifesting in your life now. Or look what your mother's father is carrying. He's carrying this anger that came from here, and it may have come from his father's father, and we're tracking that, and look at how this anger is manifesting into your life. But it started at this point in your lineage. So that's what multidimensional energy tracking is. It's not just like kind of a Reiki experience where you're kind of tracking more in a physical field and you're feeling the energy. Oh, I feel a warm spot right here. Let's clear this. It is taking all these different levels of awareness beyond just this 3D linear experience and bringing in, okay, your past lives, your ancestral impacts, dark forces. So you may be, let's say, an entity that may be holding within you. And it could have been a lost soul that kind of attached to you that needs to get cleared out, because what it's manifesting in your life is the fact that you can't be in a relationship with someone else because of whatever, so that's what the multidimensional experience is. Also, the planetary influences we experience. I mean, Mercury retrograde, I mean, most people, you could just say, oh my gosh, we're Mercury retrograde. And they're like, okay, yeah, got it. That's why your computer's not working, right? So that's what the multidimensional lens of this experience, or what I do.
That's amazing. And then I'm guessing you use that information in a way to improve people's lives in some way.
Yes. So exactly. So I'll get these intuitive hits. I'll get these. So let's go back to the father's anger that got passed down. And that was actually from his father's father, and how it's manifesting through the lineage. It may be through the lineage, how it was passed down is in that no one could really have an intimate relationship with others. And so I can track into it and say, are you struggling in relationships right now? Are you struggling to be in your truth and be able to intimately connect with someone? And do you always hold back in your relationships? Yeah, I do. I hold back in my relationships in this way. Oh, look at your father carries this. Oh my gosh, he was totally like that. Oh, this actually came from your father's father and he passed it down. And having that information, then we can work on clearing that energetic block. I can actually tune into that frequency, go through and clear it all through the entire lineage. And I see it on a soul level. So I actually will see your ancestors come forward, and I will see them holding that frequency, let's say a frequency of anger for a particular reason. And I can tune into them at a soul level, like on a full heart level, and communicate and help to clear that out of all of them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is through this forgiveness. They wake up on a new level of awareness, even though they passed, or if they're still here, they wake up to an unconscious level of awareness, and it is able to pull out of them. So then that person may have their own anger, but it's their own. It's not carried through this baggage that's been carried down from lineage to lineage. So I will tune into them and help them clear those energetic blocks. And it's very much I don't know necessarily how to describe it, besides just I tune into it. I'm able to feel the frequency and clear it. But I actually get visuals and all that too. So I will have, like, let's say the grandfather communicating with me and all those kinds of things. So it really can be, what I have found is, once I started bringing in, I've done the therapy, I've done the coaching, I've done the all the things, right? Once I started bringing in this level of like bringing in energy work, that like started transforming my life into bringing it all together. I do the mindset stuff, I do all the things, but bringing in the energetic shifting really helped me to bring in a new level of awareness. Because the way we hold energy, it's like when we hold trauma from our past, that's all energy that gets built up within us. So we can release it mentally, but there could still be a hold on energetically that needs to be released. That's why the somatic therapies are so popular right now and really growing for folks. That's why plant medicine is so good, because it bypasses the brain and it gets you into these fields, into these levels of awareness that go beyond our wounding, go beyond the patterns that we've always been in. So it's another level of that kind of awareness.
Yeah, I have so many questions about this. I don't even know where to start. But one of them is, when you were talking about clearing things in the lineage, when these souls come back into another life, they come in at a different level.
Yeah. So I believe I've been reincarnated. Okay. I can tune into your fields and I can see lifetimes that you have lived. Okay. On this planet, off planet, I can go into all different levels of it. So, but when we come in, up until now, most of us living on this planet don't remember. Mm-hmm. So we're remembering who we are in this experience, in this lifetime. And we all feel that. We all feel in some way we've lost ourselves and we're coming back to ourselves. That's the same kind of thing. When we tune in and connect with our ancestors, it's the same kind of thing where they're remembering themselves. They're seeing you in your true essence of who you are. You're seeing them in the true essence. It's just like the work we do when we're forgiving our loved ones, when we're working on healing our past, let's say with our fathers or our mothers or the people in our lives that we learned trauma from or had wounds from. When we're tuning into them, we're connecting. I know for me, I see my father in such love now because I see him in his essence. I see him in his wounding, and I can hold him in a different light. I can hold him in a different space than before. Now I just do it in a different level of awareness, in an unconscious level of clearing up this energy on a soul level. I can communicate on a soul level with him, so a lot of it is that same kind of work we do. I love to bring in the unseen, the more spiritual connection, as well as the mental work, because I feel like it's all connected. We have to do it on all levels of awareness. So
Yeah.
it's just like going to church and praying and being, in your spiritual practice that way, you're connecting on a different level of awareness that you can't describe on a mental 3D level. It's
Yeah.
that same kind of thing,
Oh, yeah. I love it. Yeah. Like mind, body, spirit. You can't really extricate them as long as you have a body, at least.
Yes. And the body, oh my gosh, the wounding we carry, right? We know we carry up here, it impacts our body, it impacts our spirit. It impacts us on all levels. So that's the work. That's the work. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And then do you find that really educating people and doing bringing some of the unconscious things conscious, how does that elevate people, or how does it support them on their path?
Yeah. So I think the big piece with that is people have these lingering feelings that they have never been able to really describe. That's their intuition a lot of times. It's this, like, I call it like these loops that you go through where it's just like, I just know this. There's something about this. And they don't trust themselves because they go into their mental or the ego driver. They go into that and not allow themselves to be in their hearts and follow their hearts and really feel that. When you bring that unconscious, the unseen levels into your regular experience, you start to have such a different level of faith and trust in yourself. You're sourcing from within. You're creating like this belief in who you are that goes beyond anything practical we've ever learned. So I up until recently, and we know we're moving into this Aquarian age, right? This new paradigm, this new level of awareness. Up until now, we have been on this planet, been in a kind of power over dynamic where we look externally for validation. We've been like kind of have a power over us. We haven't claimed our own personal sovereignty. What they tell us to do is what we've done. Right. And that has been the system of humanity for a long time on this planet. The shift has been, and we're moving into, well, again, this, what some people call the new earth, the Aquarian age, the new paradigm, whatever you want to call it. With that shift into this new paradigm experience, what we're experiencing is humanity is waking up to their sovereignty. I know this is my truth. Whatever anyone says out there, it doesn't matter because I know this is my truth. And we see that, and that's what humans are and people are waking up to right now, is they're waking up to those levels of this isn't me anymore. I don't resonate with my partner anymore. I don't resonate with this job anymore. I don't even resonate with this food anymore. Whatever it is what we are starting to wake up to. This new paradigm is coming into personal sovereignty, inner freedom. That's the same thing, our truth, as well as coming into unification, unity. We're doing this as a collective whole. How are we serving? How are we bringing our gifts out to the world is our way of how we're serving. So that is what we're shifting into now. And when people are waking up to this, their lives are drastically changing. And for some, it's happening easily. In others, that's why we named this the title of the resistances we're experiencing, because our whole lives are being shifted. And we're creating these experiences so we can wake up to our truth, because we're calling that forward. The sad part is, and I bet we all know people, I know we all know people that are not showing up for this. They're not doing their personal work. They are in the resistance mode, the victim mode, and they're staying in that. And that is that we're going to see that more. We're going to see the people on their path of wakening up to who they are, and we're going to see people on the path of resistance. So I went a little off topic when you were asking whatever question you were asking.
No, that's perfect, because we were getting into the topic, and I love where you took us. So for the people that are in resistance, what do you suggest? Like, where do they start? Because what I found is a lot of people have these blocks that are subconscious, and they have these patterns that are in place that actually cause paralyzation, or show up as overwhelm, confusion, like I don't know where to start, or even those, crappy voices like I'm not good enough. What do I have to share? So not owning their gifts. And again, like you were saying, like not remembering the truth of who they are. So where do you suggest people like that start, that are willing?
Yes.
See like, okay, I'm stuck, but I don't know what to do.
Yes. So a lot of it is kind of, we've hear certain tools and techniques. I'm just going to bring in a more spiritual lens into this as more, and also kind of bring in a more like kind of 3D kind of practical level. What I have found for people who are willing to really start showing up is I start to encourage them to listen to their inner voice. If you're getting these loops, these reoccurring thoughts, these understandings that you're not, or knowings that you don't understand where they're coming from, but they just are nagging and they just won't go away until you start looking at it, I am encouraging people to start listening to their inner voice, listen to their intuition. And how it shows up differently for everyone. For some people, it is like a thought or a knowing. For others, there may be a visual. For most, I think it's more of an inner knowing. Some people can hear things or whatever, but there's information that comes to you every day. The experiences you have are giving you information. Those are intuitive information. You are being given these beautiful gifts. And if it means you got into this car accident, okay, well, why did that happen? Where did that come from? There's something in that for you that's trying to come forward. So where I start with folks is, all right, as much as we can bring ourselves into presence is important. Now, I'm someone who was always busy, busy, busy. And I am shifting in my identity. My identity was around me being the breadwinner and being busy, right? Avoidance, distraction, as much as possible, staying in my victimhood. This person did this to me. That person did that to me, all the things. And it kept me locked down until I really started getting into presence more. Then I was able to start waking up to this feeling of, oh my gosh, I can actually start to listen. I can start to feel like, okay, this just happened to me, but it didn't happen to me. It happened for me, right? Like, why is this coming up for me? What do I have to learn in this? What is the you can say the lesson, or how did I source this? Whatever you want to say. But I'm starting there. Like, that's intuition working. That's your inner voice bringing something. I feel it's on a soul level. You can say universe, God, creator, bringing that forward for you to have an experience to wake up to. I also feel it's on a soul level. I source this experience that happened to me for me to remember and wake up to, okay, this isn't in my truth anymore. Or some, there's all different kinds of experiences around this. My daughter and I, my 15-year-old and I kind of had a brawl the other night. We just kind of went at it, but I was sourcing from past. I was completely in a space of, I am avoiding conflict with this child because I know how she's going to react. Well, of course she blew up because I was in avoidance. And so all that resistance and all that stuff reminded me, here's another way I'm still living in an old wound or or from the past. And I have made a contract with, not a contract, I'm in agreement with myself to be in my truth. Well, my truth means that I want to be free. I want to be sovereign. I want to be pure. I want to be in a space of being in love and connection. So living from the past is not in my truth anymore. So me having that experience with my daughter, and we both were able to come back at it the next day and really go into, and she was like, Mama, you were coming from the past, from past wounding. I'm coming from, and she said to me, I moved the past aside to talk to you today.
Wow.
And I said, this is what I need from you. I just need you to not move my stuff anymore. And so she said, I'm not living from the past anymore. I need you to not move my stuff anymore. And please, no more. You reacted from the past because of all the times I reacted to you when you moved my stuff. I'm like, wait, I didn't say this. My 15-year-old daughter said this. And that made me think like, okay, because of my work, I'm staying present. I'm being honest and authentic. I'm being vulnerable. I'm showing up in my messiness. Yeah. And she's hearing the language from me. That is what the result was. And so I woke up on a new level of like, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, universe, creator, God, whatever you believe in. And thank you on a soul level to wake me up to something that I was not allowing myself to face. There's that next level of it. So that's those resistances. But to me, I do this on a more spiritual level. So I feel these are created from source, God, creator, universe, as well as from my soul level, bringing it forward for me. So when I can be present in the experience or reflect on it after, then I know how to start cleaning it up. I know how to start cleaning it up. So being present is a huge one. Knowing that I am responsible for these experiences that happen to me. That's another, of course, really big one. And when I'm present, I have to remember I don't have to be doing anything right now. I get to walk with the dogs and listen to the birds and see the leaves on the tree. And that is 10 times more healing than me doing a yoga class right now. Because that presence right now, sometimes with yoga, it's a doing still. I mean, that's, sometimes it can be, sometimes it's not. But for me, that's 10 times more healing because it's forcing me to be present and I get grounded and I connect with Pachamama, Mother Earth, and I ask her to help connect so I can heal and clear out energy that way too. I can connect with Father, Son, same thing. So there's a lot happening with that. So presence, nature, being outside, doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the city, I'm in the city or not. Being in nature, being outside, that is massively healing as well. And trusting your intuition, listening to the data sets you get, this intuitive hits, this inner voice that comes forward. Yeah, so those are some things. I have a lot more, but.
That's amazing. So first of all, I want to say what a beautiful time as a parent to have evidence that, dang, they're picking up the good stuff too. Like I'm not just messing them up. I'm imparting the wisdom and the good stuff too. So congratulations on that.
I know. Actually, you're right. That's a good one.
Right? Like one of the things I talk to my clients about all the time is, what are you looking for evidence for? Are you looking for evidence like how you're messed up or how you're doing a great job? So this is something for you to pay attention to. Like, wow, look at that. Look who she's become under my tutelage. And it's not just what you say. Like, she's being it. She's embodying it. So that's amazing. So one of the things that I would love for you to go into is you're talking about the intuitive hits. And I think for people that aren't used to discerning, like what's my intuition and what is the voice of ego or the voice of fear? Like, how can they tell when they're just starting out? Is there like feelings in the body or what are the signs?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So, and I work with a lot of folks, advanced students, as well as like beginners at a yoga studio that are really trying to explore their intuition. So really how you can start to discern this is I still ask a lot of questions. I'm asking a lot of questions in my head. Is this mine? Is this my father's? Is this someone else's? Is this my am I sourcing from past or wounding? Or is this kind of my authentic truth? I am asking these questions as I'm having experiences. In my head, I'm just asking, and I start to get what I call data sets or information around it. I start to get discernment. And that discernment for me could be a physical piece. I have a lot of people I work with that get like physical reactions, and they start to understand what the difference is. The pain in the shoulder for one of my clients means it's anger from the past. You know, like random things like that. For me, if you've heard of like muscle testing, I sway back and forth. That's like the somatic stuff we've been talking about. When I sway forward, that's a yes. That's a positive. That's a what I get a no, I go back. And sometimes when I did this class recently around like money, and I asked someone to imagine $1 being handed to you and see what happens to your body, most were going back. I literally almost fell back. Wow. Not even receiving $1. So that intuitive hit, I was like, whoa, this I know is my intuition working. I also now get like, again, visuals, knowings, voices, things like that, because I've really amplified and I've been on this path of very, very focused, heavy intuitive experiences for like 10 years. So my levels are, but when I'm working with people, the kind of physical tends to be the first, and then they start to be able to discern what's theirs and what's not. But I still have to ask myself questions a lot to get it. I also encourage, if you work with guides or you work with, or if you have a connection with God, or you know, whatever you connect with, you can also ask for that assistance, and you'll notice what starts to come in for you, and you'll be able to discern, oh yes, this is an intuitive hit, this is not. Also, dream time is so profound. What I encourage people to do is before they go to bed, even if they're sitting up in bed, I encourage you to meditate, to connect within. Go behind your eyes, like literally pull your awareness in behind your eyes. I imagine myself sitting in a little rocking chair behind my eyes. That brings me into my body so that I know I'm fully sourced within. And I breathe, I connect within. I may ask questions. I may ask for clarity on something. I connect. I start to like pull things forward. Information starts coming forward. But what I love to do is I set an intention for dream time. Let's say I need clarity or awareness on something. I need the energy discerned because I'm too in my head to then find out I go into dream time. I fall asleep. Usually when I wake up, I get some hits, or a certain dream gives me information if I remember my dreams. Or after that, in the shower or on my walk, oh my gosh. So I set the intention in dream time, which is our unconscious state, right? Which is more on a soul level state we go into. Then that they do all the work for you. So when you wake up, you're getting some information.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love, well, there's a lot of things you said. One is when you start introducing the questions, and what I've found in my experience is the ego never questions itself. It's like, this is a fact. This is a belief. This is the way it is. There's no other way. It's either this or this, like it's A or B. It's left or right or wrong, black or white. So introducing those questions, and my business coach says all the time, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask. So when you're asking these open, expansive questions, even like, well, what else is possible when you get stuck in it thinking, I think is really easy. It's a simple fix to invite spirit into play, because the ego is also very serious, right? Like, like intuition and spirit, God is playful and fun, limitless and expansive. And for me, like I feel expanded in my body. My body feels open. And like you said, it's like I fall forward like a hell yeah. Hell yeah. And if something's a no for me, like my body contracts and I'm like falling backward, like hell no, like, whoa, get away. And So I think it's profound to start listening to the wisdom that's already within you, which is what you're saying, and
Yes.
honoring what's there, because when you honor that, it opens up the other channels. You know, like
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for bringing forward the feeling you get of it's also a feeling of openness, a feeling of expansion. When I get a yes, I get my heart opens up and expands. When I get a no, that is a contraction as well. So thank you for bringing that forward, because I think a lot of people experience it, or they don't allow themselves to connect somatically, like connect more, that their body is sharing the intuitive, data sets they're getting as well. So thank
yeah.
you for bringing that forward. That's really important.
Yeah, I think it is important, and just noticing, because, like I've said this before, but I think a lot of us we had our intuition trained out of us. Like, you have a creepy uncle and your mom's like, oh, go give Uncle Harry a kiss. And you're like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And taught to not listen to our own guidance. And if you've looked at like heart math, for example, I think there's a book, and they were talking about, they had a convicted child molester go onto a playground where the kids could not see them. They couldn't see him. And the parents were instructed, they knew what was happening, to just sit and not interrupt. And every single one of those kids, without seeing this guy, ran over to their parent because they felt unsafe. And I get goosebumps every time I tell that story, because they have this knowing. Like, we come in with it, and then we're trained to not listen to ourselves, to listen to authority or adults or, teachers. When we have the best guide and we have connection to source, we're so close to God, and we're just trained to, it gets trained out of us. So,
Oh my gosh.
and I think it's the most beautiful gift to teach our children. Like, my kids were hilarious. My little one, she would go up to the scariest looking people and like talk to them. And other kids were taught, don't talk to strangers. And I'm like, no, you trust your belly. Your gut knows.
Oh,
Your body knows who's safe and who's not. And those scary looking people were not scary people. They just looked like it. And some of the most normal looking people are the scariest people on the planet. Like, they can do the most harm.
that is a beautiful gift you gave your daughters.
Yeah.
Beautiful gift.
Yeah, thank you. So, we are past time.
Ooh.
Are there any last things that you want to share with the audience? And then I'll ask you like where they can find you and all the good stuff.
No, I think we just covered a lot. Just know that if you are feeling out of sorts, know that that's what collectively we're going through right now. That's this new paradigm shift that we're in. We're all coming into what's in alignment with who we truly are, what our truth is. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, all these things are happening, and I don't understand why I don't even want to be with my partner anymore, or whatever it is, this is that collective experience. And it's just you waking up to new levels of who you are. So it's just like, enjoy the ride, because it's not going to get any easier, I will say, from now through until like 2025. So really, we're in this flow. And it's like, the more we can ground into just being present, being in nature, being outside, just being present, connecting within, going into our dreams, just like setting intentions, creating visions and goals for ourselves, those sort of things, we're going to ride this wave, being open to doing our work. When we are in resistance, knowing this is coming from somewhere and there's something in this for us, that is what's going to make this as an adventure, versus like, oh my gosh, all these things are happening to me. I just lost my job and I'm broke, and whatever it is, that's because I am watching. Some people are like, woohoo, let's surf through this, let's go on that big wave. And others are like angry or falling apart or getting really unhealthy. The things are happening.
Right.
So that's it.
One phrase that really serves me when I'm going through the crap, or when things don't work out the way I want them to, is this or something better. And that's it. Like, just trusting God, trusting the universe that whatever isn't happening wasn't meant for me, and I'm meant to go in a different direction, and using my emotions as a guide. Because if something feels icky, it's probably not in alignment unless it's something like I'm stretching into it, just a whole,
Yeah.
but we won't go there right now.
Yeah, because that's discernment, right? That's
Exactly.
discernment. Discerning, is this icky because of this or icky because of that?
Right. Yes, this we could talk forever, huh, Stacy?
That's a show right in itself, discernment. Just
Yeah.
turning into that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So how can people find you, and do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Oh, okay. So the easiest way to find me is on Light Body Academy. So lightbodyacademy.com. I have teach classes on how to track energy. I do private sessions. I do a free group energy clearing every month. That's the easiest way. Also through Urban Sanctuary, which is urbansanctuary.love. I also teach monthly classes. So I do a lot of ancestral work, ancestral clearing, and there's some classes coming up around that. So
That's amazing.
so you can
Well,
find me.
I will link everything up in the show notes, and I'm so grateful that you shared all this with me because I learned a ton, and I'm into all this stuff. So thank you so much for being here, Stacy.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank
You're
you everyone for
welcome.
joining.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you right here next week on Irresistible You.